Hi, Amanda. How are you doing?
Do I have to answer?
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
just
yeah. No.
chilling.
One day. One day. I'm just gonna not even act like it's a thing anymore, and then you'll forget about it, and we won't even have to worry about it again. So it's awesome. So today, uh, different type of podcast, different type of message out there. It is July. Just rolled over into July, and July means that we start seeing a lot of uh, questions and a lot of things coming in from students who are just beginning their college search process. Now, most of the time when we talk to people here and we talk about our different issues, we're talking about students who are getting ready to start SVSU here in the fall. But now we're starting to see more high school juniors and their family. Well, I say high school juniors, juniors going into their senior year. They're going to be seniors. They get really upset about that. We'll just, uh, so we start to talk. So I thought it would be really good if we just took a break from our normal podcast, and you and I talk directly to, we'll say the high school, the class of 21, right? But I think it's also going to be really, really relevant for the students who are starting SVSU this fall as well too. So I would love. So let's introduce ourselves again, because a lot of people have asked who is Amanda.
Hi,
They don't
I'm
really care.
Amanda.
They don't really care who I am. Could you give a little bit of your background and just kind of where you're from and that kind of stuff?
For sure. My name is Amanda. I'm from Port Huron. If anybody knows where that's at, that's like here in the thumb, across from Canada. I'm a third year here at SBSU. I study professional and technical writing with a minor in political science, and I plan to go into corporate law one day and hopefully be the future president by 2040. But that's a stretch.
We're working on it.
That's
We're
just,
working on
it's
it.
my goal. It's my
We're
goal.
working on it. And I'm Nick Taylor. I'm one of the associate directors in the undergraduate admissions office. Actually, I just passed a work anniversary. I now have 17 years of work experience at the university, all in admissions, helping students get from high school to college as efficiently as possible. I have 2 degrees from SVSU. My bachelor's degree is in history and political science with a secondary education certification. I'm a teacher by trade. And then my master's degree, I actually have a master's in educational leadership as well, both from SVSU. So true alum through and through. I drank the
Night.
Kool-Aid. Let's just put it that way.
Oh
So
my god.
today I wanted to stop and let's talk to both of the incoming class and the people who are just starting their college search process. Right? I want to give the best advice that we can give. Now I have mine, but we're going to save that for a little later. I want to know from you as a third year student going through your whole college selection process and now being somewhat I'll give you somewhat successful in college. You're progressing. We're going to graduate on time. So that's
I'm getting
success, right?
there.
We're getting there.
Yes.
Um, what kind of advice would you give to our students? What would be the first thing you would say?
My number one thing from my experience that I would say is to get involved any way you can on campus because I made the mistake. I didn't do that my first year and I didn't feel as happy. But once I started to get involved in meeting people in my classes, interacting with them, I like really started to like it here a lot more, and I'm gonna be extremely sad when I have to leave them all and not see them all the time. Um, Another piece of advice that I would give is to not just get involved on campus, but you could also like get a job on campus or even off campus, and you can make friends that way. I definitely like all of my best friends. We all work together at our little store in the mall, and it's so fun. But yeah, getting involved is my number one thing I would say to
It's cool that you
students.
say that. It's really cool that you say that because I know I'm going to come at it from a statistical point of view. You ready? I know that the number one indicator for a student to be successful going from their freshman to their sophomore year, the number one indicator, better than any test score, better than any GPA, better than any socioeconomic index, right? We look at everything. The number one indicator for freshman to sophomore success, whether or not someone got involved on campus. Pure and simple.
Sounds about right. I feel
It's
like
even
getting involved too, it helps you like finish on time too, because like you're involved, it makes you just want to keep doing more and more, you know? You don't get into
you
like a slump.
you are hitting the nail on the head. You ready for this? I always explain it this way. I always tell students, listen, when you start college, and you're living this right now, in the next 4 years, 4 or 5 years, your life transforms, right? You go
Oh,
from being a kid student to being a adult with responsibilities, right?
and have to pay bills.
Exactly. So you're making this transition. This is the last time, I don't say the last time, but this is the best time to kind of find your uh, what you're passionate about, right? If you get involved in something that you just like, I don't care what it is. That's the other thing is, some
Yeah.
people will talk about, oh, it's got to be in your major, and there are a lot of great ones in your major. I think those are worthwhile, and you should check it
But like
out.
we have a pie club.
The pie club is, I love the pie
I'm
kid
in the
club.
pie club. I've just not been to a meeting yet.
That doesn't count. You got
I'm
to
in
be
the
involved. Come
emails.
on. Yeah.
I'm in the emails.
Here's my point though, and this is especially for parents who come and ask me this, like, why would the university spend time, resources, energy promoting the pie club or
Right.
the quidditch team or the zombie defense council we used to have? Well, I know, right? Why would the university spend time and resources promoting and helping those organizations even exist, right? You're here just for your education. We know if you get involved, you're much more likely to progress, right? So we're going to spend all of our time and energy helping you be successful. So we're going to put time for that. The reason why it helps you is so simple that everybody overlooks it. The reason it's so simple is you are having fun. And if you have fun, are you more or less likely to continue?
Right.
You're not going to let life happen, right? And I always say life, don't get married, right? Not till you're 30. Serious face, helping you out here, right? I have a wonderful wife. She's amazing. She puts up with me, so obviously she's a saint. But you only have these 4 or 5 years to be in college and follow those passions and get involved. If it's the pie club, God bless you. Will you put in a good word for me so I can be the advisor? Hint, hint. Right. If it's the Quidditch team, if it's whatever it is, I don't care, but finding one of those things to get involved, especially that first semester, because that's a big transition for everybody,
Oh yeah.
especially right now our students are getting ready to start in the fall, and students who are just starting their college search experience, this is a weird time to do it, right? We talk about the quarantine and everything's happening. If you're new to our podcast, one thing we want you to check out, go to the website, the svsu.edu website, and we have our nest plan in place for the fall for everybody to see how are we going to reintegrate students and staff back onto campus safely during these times. We're very hopeful, and we're doing all of the planning in everything that we can possibly do to ensure that you guys don't lose this time, right? So I love it. I love your advice. That's
Wait,
awesome.
I got another piece actually. It just popped in my head.
Okay.
Um, so this would be like for the younger students out there. Do not, if you plan on like going to school with your friends, don't follow your friends. And I don't mean that in a mean way. Like you can go visit your friends and all, but like you need to meet new people to like be happy here. Cause I mean, I've had an experience where I lived with someone and I didn't necessarily enjoy it too much, but
Yeah.
I was meeting new people and I started to like it a lot more. So just putting yourself
So
out
this,
there, I guess, like,
without giving this person's name or the story, okay,
oh
I don't
no,
want
no,
to blast them
no.
out here. But did you know this person before you came to
Yeah,
SVSU? Yeah.
yeah.
See, I tell students right now, a lot of our students are finding out if you're getting ready to start in the fall. Housing assignments just came out today. So
Oh, really?
house, yeah, so housing assignments are out there now, and I always talk to students about that. If you have a friend who's going to SVSU and you want a room together, okay, we'll be able to work that out, right? But it's so much better if the two of you separate, and now you know you always have somebody to go and visit, right?
And then you
And
have
you're
a
gonna
bigger group of friends.
exactly, you have a bigger network and a bigger group of friends, and also let's be realistic. You know, just like you said, we see more issues, and I say issues, we're not talking anything serious, but we see more problems in housing between people who know each other beforehand than people who move in blind. Our housing department does a great job of trying to match you up using that personality profile. We have a personality
Mhm.
profile that goes in that housing application. They do a great job matching you up, and their job is to try to put you with other people that are going to share some interest, right? So if we can do that and you can move in, you're a lot less likely to go off the rails, Amanda. You're a lot less likely to go all Amanda on them. There's the reason we
Hey, I'm
call you
not
Carol.
I'm not mean.
Uh, you're Carol Baskin. Just back up.
I'm a very
So
nice person.
sure. So being able to do that and moving in, that's great advice. You're 2 for 2. I'm pretty impressed. I was a little worried when I was like, oh, what is she gonna say? That's
Something
good.
dumb.
No, not dumb. I was worried that you were gonna. Never mind. I don't want to even bring it up.
But what about you? Do you have any advice for students?
This is probably the number one thing that I absolutely remind every student I come into contact with, because I think it's so important and so impactful in student success, right? That if a student can remember this next big piece of advice, they're going to be getting started on the right foot. And that is, they have to remember that college is the opposite of kindergarten, right? Do you remember in
What?
kindergarten? Do you remember in kindergarten? There was always that short little pushy kid used to run and cut in front of the milk line. Do you remember him?
Yeah, that was me.
Well, this is what he grows up to look like, okay? I'm just saying. It was my kindergarten teacher. My kindergarten teacher. I still remember back all the way, and it was a long time ago for me, but he used to always go like, Nick, it's okay. Just get in line. As long as you get in line, everything will be okay. Okay. Did you feel like the energy just die out of our conversation by doing that? That that's the perfect kindergarten teacher, because brings the level down. The students are listening to him. The monotone voice straightens them all out, right? The lesson we've been teaching you from kindergarten all the way through your senior year of high school is, as long as you get in line, as long as you turn in that assignment on time, as long as you turn in the permission slip, right, by the certain date, you will be okay. You'll be taken care of. That's like the worst. I don't want to say it's the worst. That, to me, that is a bad precedent to set, because when you get to college and in the real world, you want to do things as early as possible. You don't
Yes.
want, I think, quite frankly, I think due dates, and I hate giving like due dates on anything, because to me that's the death nail, because I know what's going to happen. Most of my students are going to turn in the day after the due date, right? So I much rather tell my students when can they start doing things than when it should be done by, because if they take care of it when they start, oh my goodness, there's so many more doors that are going to open up for you. Let me give you 2 examples, okay? Um, let's give the first example for the students who are getting ready to start this fall, okay? And you're going to have to back me up on this. You call me out if it's not true. The bookstore. Our bookstore does a great job working with
Oh my
students.
god.
You know where I'm going with this, don't you?
Yeah.
So, because the bookstore, for a lot of our freshman classes especially, will allow you to rent books. And when you rent your book, it's like half off, right? But our average class size is about 22 students per class, right? If we have 22 students per class for a certain class, the bookstore is probably only going to have like 10, maybe 12 books to rent. Who gets to rent those books?
But first come, first serve.
I don't care. Even if you show up a week before class starts and you're all set and ready, if you're the 13th person there to try to rent that book, you're well ahead of the deadline, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're renting that book for full price, or you're buying that book for full price. So I think that's a good example for my students who are getting ready to start. Be first, be early, do things when you can start. For my students who are just starting their college search process, right now is a really important time. All the colleges have started. They always start, and ours opened up yesterday. They always start their applications sometime in July. Our application for the fall of 21 class opened up yesterday. It's free to apply up through at least August 1st this year. We're trying to tell students, listen, the earlier you apply, you get your things in now, we will have you ready in the system. We'll start looking for scholarships. We'll start taking care of getting you all the information you need to decide if SVSU is the right fit. But you got to get that application in early. Most everybody else, all of their friends, are going to wait till like October, November to apply. You're shaking your head, right? And
I
that's
remember
okay.
on my application too, I spelled my own name wrong for the SPSU application. So I was in the system as like Amanda Zolkowski.
I can't believe we still let you in. Almost got really good grades. No, it's important because things like that happen, but we got to fix this. We got to take care of it. In October becomes really important because for those students who are just starting their college search process, if you can apply now, get admitted, October opens up the FAFSA. You're going to do your FAFSA in October, right? We've talked about this.
Yeah.
If I'm talking to the people out there, if you haven't listened to our financial aid and scholarship episodes, go back and listen. Michael Crow does a great job talking about financial aid and all the little intricacies and why October is so important. October, you fill out your FAFSA. Now you've applied. You've got the first round of scholarships. You're the first person I looked at for money. Now you get your FAFSA in. Guess who gets their award letter first? Right?
Bing, 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 bing.
Exactly. So now everything is lined up, and this is all still before you've committed to going anywhere, right? And that's why it builds upon itself. The earlier you can do things. So I always make my students, I remind them, you got to remember, college is the opposite of kindergarten. I want you to cut. I want you to be first in line. Just don't beat anybody up. Looking at you, Carol Baskin.
I have
but
never been in a fight, for your information, except on Facebook.
I'm gonna leave that alone because I don't even know. So I think that's probably the most important piece of advice there for those students. It's just to make sure they know and that they're ready. And they take care of those things first.
Yeah.
Sound good?
I feel like everything we've said though, like, has definitely like is hammered into like these students, but like, and they'll just be like, oh, I don't want to listen, because that was me. And now that I went through it, I'm just like, man, I wish I could go back and change it all,
Hey, there's a reason besides your talent in the editing and helping me get this whole project started. There's a reason I like having you talk with me on these things because I'm an old guy. We already said that at the beginning, but you are living it right now. And students will listen to other students. You've got a lot of things. You brought some great advice today, and I'm giving you a compliment here. So you better live it up because that doesn't happen very often, right? So, but students will listen to you, and I think too, students. I'm a big believer. I think everybody can really tell who's authentic and who's not, right? We've spent so much time being marketed to, right? Getting different things that people kind of see what's going on with all of that. I don't know if you can hear that. My baby daughter is crying upstairs right now, so she knows I'm authentic, right? She knows when I'm just trying to be funny. It's something innate that we all have, right? So I really believe like when we talk about these things, this is good advice. This is authentic. There was nothing in that advice that makes me or you look any better. It's just trying to help out students in the long run. So, all right, we got to end this segment, and we always end everything with Nic's irreverent question of the day. You were trying to. Your cat knows it. He's standing in the background. He finally showed up because he's now excited for the irreverent question of the day.
Come here.
So
Oh, he got scared of the question.
That's good. So our Irreverent Question today always has to do with nothing that we talk about. It's just got to be something fun and exciting. And that's how you got me to watch The Tiger King at one point, and I still don't forgive you for that. I want to know. We talked about concerts already too. I was gonna say, I want to know because we're starting to wind down. Things are starting to look forward. I want to know what's the one thing this fall that you're really looking forward to when you get back to school. And the easy answer is seeing your friends. So I'm not going to let you say that. I want to know, besides seeing your friends, which you can do anyways, what's the one thing this fall that you're looking forward to getting back to on campus?
That I'm looking forward to. Definitely just sitting in a classroom. I am not a fan of like online classes, so
Mm-hmm.
just sitting in a classroom listening to a teacher talk
Mm-hmm.
is definitely one thing I'm ready for. I'm ready to take those notes as hard as I can and finish out my college career.
That's good. That's good to hear. I'm trying to figure out if I believe you or not, but I think I do. I think.
Believe me, I like to just sit there and listen to the professor talk. Sometimes I'll be like falling asleep, but like sometimes I will be like really into it and like just taking a lot of notes, you know.
I got to tell you, when you get old like me, this is why I know you're telling me the truth, because when you get old like me, like I still like to go back to classes, and a lot of times I'll be a guest speaker. I think that's how we met originally. I came to be a guest speaker in one of your classes, and I enjoy that a lot, but there's something to be said to being able to sit there and just kind of absorb the things and the knowledge. I still go to a lot of the lectures that happen on campus, the rush lecture and those things, just because for me, I love that just academic stimulus happening in my brain.
Right. Yeah, I really like I just like to learn a lot of new things. Even if it's like irrelevant things. Like I watch a lot of YouTube videos that are just so irrelevant. You'd be like, why would you watch that? But like I like to constantly like absorb weird
Nice.
information.
Well, I lost a bet because I totally thought asking that question, I was going to get you to say, well, I can't wait for the pumpkin spice latte at Starbucks.
Nope,
I
I
just,
can't have coffee anymore, unfortunately.
oh, caffeine. I get it. I get
Gluten.
it. Ah, that's her. Now I just hit a sore subject. Wow. That's great. Good job, Nick. And I was basically calling you a PSL, so that's all right. I've got a funny
How
story
dare
about
you?
PSL. I've got a funny story about PSLs later. I had a coworker back in the day. He knows who he is, who would order one every single day. And eventually I just looked at him like, you understand what's happening here, right? And he's like, just leave me alone. I don't have very many fun things in my life. All right, that's good. It's good for me. No judgment zone. I feel it.
Like Planet Fitness.
That makes me the lunk. Anyways, all right. All right. Well, I hope you everything goes well for you. Take time, wash your hands, please.
Yep,
And
keep those hands washed.
I will see. We're going to take a little bit of a break here. We probably will be back with everybody in about 2 weeks. So I got a well-deserved vacation coming up, and I can't wait. So, and I know you got to go to work, so that's good.
Unfortunately.
Hey, make that money. It's all right. You're good.
Oh, we making that dollars.
All right. Take care of yourself, Amanda, and wash your hands.
Yep, you too.
Bye.